Welcome back to another exciting episode of Chronicles of Enigma. Thank you for joining us today. Please like, subscribe, and share as always. We appreciate your support. In this episode, we will be discussing flood fables from across the globe. The story of a great flood covering the earth and killing out all life has been told over and over by separate cultures throughout time. Noah is the most popular, due in part to the popularity of the Bible. In case you aren't familiar with Noah's Ark, I'll give you a brief overview. The story of Noah's Ark is a biblical narrative found in the book of Genesis. According to the story, God observed that humanity had become corrupt and wicked, so he decided to flood the earth and start anew. God chose Noah, a righteous man, to build an ark to save himself, his family, and pairs of every kind of animal from the impending flood. Noah followed God's instructions and built the ark, which was a massive boat with specific dimensions. He gathered pairs of every kind of animal, and along with his family entered the ark before the floodwaters came. The flood lasted for 40 days and for 40 nights, covering the entire earth and submerging all living beings. After the floodwaters receded, the ark came to rest on the mountains of Ararat. Noah and his family, along with the animals, disembarked and repopulated the earth. As a symbol of God's covenant never to flood the earth again, a rainbow appeared in the sky. The story of Noah's Ark is often seen as a tale of divine judgment, salvation through obedience, and God's promise of mercy and renewal. In Africa, there are several tribes of people who have oral stories of a great flood, including the Kwaya, Mabuta, Maasai, Mandinka, and Yoruba peoples. One prime example is the story of God instructing Tambanat of the Maasai tribe to construct a wooden ark and board it with his wives, sons, and their wives, and some animals of every kind. Once they were all aboard and provisioned, God caused a long and heavy rain that resulted in a flood, drowning all other men and beasts. The Choctaw people of North America have a long-standing tradition of the Great Flood. The story goes that there was once a time when the earth was covered in darkness. The Choctaw medicine men, or mystery men, searched for daylight for a long time, but eventually they gave up hope. The entire nation was very unhappy. One day, a light was spotted in the north. The Choctaw people rejoiced, but their joy was short-lived. The light turned out to be great mountains of water rolling in. The flood destroyed all of the Choctaw people, except for a few families who had built a great raft and escaped. The Aztec of Mexico have a flood myth similar to many others around the world. In this myth, people of a certain stage of creation were unruly and stopped worshiping the gods properly. This angered the gods, and the rain god Tlaloc decided to flood the earth to destroy the human inhabitants. One day, Tlaloc sent a great flood to the earth. The water quickly rose, and the people were caught off guard. Many people drowned, but a few were able to escape by building rafts. One of these rafts was built by a man named Coxcox. Coxcox and his wife were able to save themselves and their children by floating on their raft. After the floodwaters receded, Coxcox and his wife became the ancestors of the Aztec people. In the Quran, there is a story of Nuh, which revolves around his mission as a prophet sent by Allah to guide his people away from sinful and idolatrous practices. Despite years of preaching, only a few people believed in him, prompting Allah to instruct Nuh to build an ark. As forewarned, a great flood ensued, wiping out the disbelievers. while Na and the believers, along with pairs of various animals, were saved in the ark. Na's own son, who rejected his father's message, perished. After the floodwaters receded, the ark settled on Mount Judy, and Na and his followers disembarked. Allah made a covenant with Na, promising not to send such a flood again. The oldest known Great Flood myth at this time is from the ancient Sumerians and is recorded in the Epic of Gilgamesh, dating back to around 2100 BC. The Sumerians, inhabitants of southern Mesopotamia, modern-day Iraq, recounted a flood narrative where the gods, angered by the human noise and overpopulation, decided to destroy humanity. The hero, Utnapishtim, advised by the god Enki, built a boat to save himself, his family, and pairs of animals. Parallels between the Sumerian flood story and the biblical narrative of Noah's Ark suggest possible influences. The story of Noah, found in the book of Genesis, is associated with the first millennia BC, with scholars considering it a compilation of oral traditions and written sources, edited over time. The biblical account shares similarities with Mesopotamian flood myths, emphasizing a potential shared cultural heritage in the ancient Near East, though the exact dating of biblical text remains a subject of scholarly debate. In exploring the diverse and widespread flood myths across cultures, we find a fascinating tapestry of narratives that share common threads despite their geographical and cultural distances. While interpretations may vary, the prevalence of such myths suggests a shared human inclination to grapple with themes of cataclysm, rebirth, and the enduring power of faith. In examining these flood fables, we gain insight into the rich tapestry of human storytelling that transcends time and borders, reflecting our collective efforts to make sense of the profound forces shaping our existence. Thank you for joining us today on this mental adventure. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, and share. We have new episodes every Tuesday.